Welcome back, dreamers, to the Rogue's Choice series in the Dungeons and Decisions game that I've been reading from. Now, yes, I recognize that I am a little late for returning to this story. I did make a post on that, but for now, I'm simply going to say that I apologize to those who enjoyed this series a year ago, and I am returning to it now, attempting to do some justice in being able to fully post the Rogue's Choice series, the Wizard's Choice series, which is ultimately my real goal, is to get that whole Wizard's Choice series up, and eventually maybe the Demon's Choice series. No promises there. For now, the ones I enjoyed the most have been Wizard's Choice and Rogue's Choice, and it seems from the comments that I've read through that the Rogue's Choice had at least a couple of people that vocally expressed their interest in hearing more. So for now, that is the one that I'm going to return to reading. Now, last time when I recorded Rogue's Choice 1, I recorded the entire first chapter, and that took, it was about 2 hours of reading, and I think it edited down to maybe an hour and a half. I am probably going to make that a little shorter this time, because that can be a bit exhausting for where my mind is at now. But we'll see how I feel as I'm reading and as I get into the story, and maybe the characters themselves can energize me as I go, and I don't feel as exhausted. I have tried doing a reading when I'm awake, and I'm always awake. Obviously, I'm not reading this in my sleep, but I should say in more like midday. And it just didn't fit the vibes of what I'm doing. And beside, I wouldn't be able to keep that up anyway, because I just usually have time to do this when it's later in the evening. So, as it is, I'm just going to do this as I'm comfortable, and I really hope that that works with everyone here. Ultimately, the goal is just to share in some really cool stories, and hopefully bring some new fans to some of these games that I think are really interesting. Not just this one, but there are a couple others that I do have lined up in the future if this becomes a habit for me and if I can commit to it the way I want to. So if we get to those, we can discuss them and maybe have more fans of those game series as well. But for now, I think I've gone on long enough with the introduction and the apology and the stalling rambling. There's also a storm happening in the background, so if you can hear that, hopefully it's not a disturbance. Maybe it's even inspirational to the story we have ahead, because if I remember correctly, the last place we left off in the Rogue's Choice, Rooster the Thief had just paired up with, I don't remember her name. There was someone that was looking to recruit some help to clear out some rats in a sewer for pay. Rooster needed the money because he owed some people for his sister's freedom, I believe. So these two are pairing up to do some battle to make some money so that Rooster can save a family member. Let's see how that goes as we enter into Chapter 2 of Rogue's Choice. You stand in a dimly lit back room of the Puppet Master's shop, surrounded by wooden puppets in various stages of production. "You can keep 2, says the halfling, sliding 2 gold coins back across the work table.
"Else sleeping in the gutter get you a stabby stab in the long neck of yours. Then no earning no more."
"Well, that's right. If I'm dead, I can no longer earn coin for your masters, you say, pocketing the coins quickly before she changes her mind. You look into her one good eye. But the payment is made, you say. You will vouch for that? She pulls out a small square of parchment from patched up overalls and throws it at you. You pick it up from the table. Mountain Troll Puppet paid in full, you read out loud. Is this some sort of receipt? She nods.
Next moon asks for a purple carrion crawl.
Ask for a purple carrion crawler puppet, you clarify. That is the password to make the next payment. She sighs.
Do not be flapping your gums about it, neither.
Ask for a purple carrion crawler, you think, committing it to memory.
Payment going up next time,
She says. How much, you ask.
Double. You're lucky didn't pay double this time.
She shrugs.
Pay off quicker.
Outrageous, you think. Not that you're surprised. You know how House Vruda here starts the payments relatively low and then raises them over time. But double? What if this shady halfling is skimming off the top? It would be nice to have something better than this poor excuse for a receipt. You could ask her to add a date, then the number of coins received, and perhaps even a signature. Another alternative is to use blackmail. She goes by the name Stump. From what you've heard, agents of House Vruda here do not like to be known. You could drop a subtle hint that you might clumsily let her name drop around town if she doesn't treat you fairly. Finally, you can just get out of here quickly. All the puppets seem to be staring at you, and it's making you nervous. What do you do? I do not like the notion of subtle blackmail, because we don't know that she's trying to screw us personally. As far as we know, House Vruda here as a whole could be screwing us. A better receipt would help defend us against her screwing us directly. Blackmail would not go well if she isn't actually doing anything we can blackmail her for. If she's not actually doing anything wrong, then we'd be putting ourselves underfoot. Leaving now is kind of wimpy. I don't want to just not push her. I think I'm going to ask for a better receipt, just so I can have documentation of this demand of double she tries to go for it next time. We'll know what it'll be double of. We'll be able to confirm how much we paid last time, and if we talk to someone different, we'd have that information available when we make those claims. Yeah, I'm gonna ask for a better receipt. Morale increases 1. I won't be played the fool, you think. If you're going to collect receipts, then you need a value on them. May I please have a number on this, you say, and a signature. Stump smirks, then snatches the paper from you. She takes out a quill from a hidden pocket in her overalls. Strangely, it has fresh ink on it. She writes the number of gold paid, the date, and then a strange little scrawl that you suppose is her signature. About as good as I will get, you think. Honestly, as good as I was hoping for. I can't even get such a receipt from my current apartment, so I would say Rooster's doing pretty good right now. Best that I leave so that you can get back to your business, you say.
Yes, would be best,
She says. She looks over at the puppets along the wall, hanging by the strings of their arms in a pose of surrender. The closest one is a hook-nosed monster made of black wood, shiny from a recent coat of lacquer. You think you catch movement from further along the line. You turn to look. The puppets and strings are motionless. Not wanting to stay here another minute, you quickly bow to the halfling standing on the sawdust-covered work table and back away to the door. She doesn't bow back. Rather, she smiles and lifts her eye patch, as though this is her goodbye. The skin beneath is wrinkled with a darkened spot where the eye must have once been. A burn? Your hand finds the doorknob behind you, and you're out into the entrance hall and then out the door into the street. Another month of freedom, dear sister, you think. You can't bear the thought of House Ruta here selling your sister, Tamara, to the slavers. Of course, freedom is relative for your sister at the moment. With your mother and father gone, your family debt also falls on her, and so she works for House Ruta here as a pickpocket. She was always the best pickpocket in the family. Of course she was. With her innocent look and deft little hands, she made easy prey of unwary travelers sifting through the bustling port city of Winborne, where you come from. Tamara, hold on. I will come for you soon, you whisper, hoping somehow, through the grace of the gods, she can hear you. Wisps of pink paint the horizon between the thick buildings. Sunset, you think. That business took longer than you expected. You had better hurry to catch Kriya. Kriya was her name. You had better hurry to catch Kriya at the Outer Ring guardhouse. Your ambitions require coin, and a lot of it. If that means hunting rats in the sewer tonight, then that's what you'll do. You hurry toward the gate to the wall separating the middle and outer ring of the city. The guards barely look as they usher you through. This is no surprise. Going from a higher class district to a lower class one should not be a problem. It's going the other way that requires the bribes. Soon you are in the outer ring. You spot an old man hobbling along rapidly. He has a cane in one hand and tows along a child with his other. "Excuse me, sir," you say, smiling kindly at the old man. "Where can I find the guard's keep?" He looks up at you and scowls.
"It is a castle. Neville Scrotum. How can a grown man not find it? Now get away from me."
He raises his cane defensively. "Maybe just point me in the direction."
"My grandson is one of the Main Street boys," he says, interrupting you. "You touch me or my kin, and every last one of your family will get fed to the hogs."
You put up your hands, palms out. "Never mind, sir." You stride down the street.
"Turn left at the Birdell's soap shop,"
yells the old man.
"Find yourself a bed and get off the street this night."
He then adds,
"Damn fool."
Old man thought I was trying to trick him, you think. You don't blame him. Muggers and thugs sometimes pose as clueless travelers to get a victim's guard down and feel them out before striking. The soap maker's shop is less than a block away, and there is a crossroads here. Looking to the left in the gathering night, you can barely make out the shadow of what must be a castle tower in the distance. You hope it's the right castle. There are several in this city. Hardly anyone is on the streets now, and those that are, like the old man, appear to be in a hurry. You take the left-hand turn. The street is narrow, barely enough space for a cart. Yet from what you have seen of Ring City, this is an average-sized road. When you need to build behind protective walls, space is at a premium. You wonder whether they have some sort of one-way rule on roads like this for carts, and if so, who enforces it. Just then, you see a pair of shadows emerge from a side alley about 12 meters ahead. They stand shoulder to shoulder, and you can see in an instant that they intend to block your path. Each has an oblong object in one hand, a club of some sort, you suppose. Curses, I must keep my wits here, you think, chastising yourself for allowing your mind to wander. You look back. As you feared, there are now 2 men behind you, also a dozen meters away. But they are gaining on you. In the sparse light from a street lantern, you see a flash of steel in the hand of one of them. You have a feeling this is a trap that these thugs have used before. A few meters ahead is a narrow alley. Your first thought is to make a break for it. If you lose them for a second and find an area that widens out a bit, you may be able to hide in the shadows or find a more substantial hiding place. But of course, you don't know what's down there, and that's probably what they expect you to do. Another option is to talk to them. Maybe you can convince them that you're under the protection of House Ruta here. Even if they believed you, would it matter in the outer ring? Finally, you can always just charge at the men in front. You doubt they will expect it, and you know a few moves when it comes to street fighting. You're fast and skilled with your dagger. What do you do? Okay, so right off the bat, we're crossing off option number 2. We're not even going to consider that. I'm spending too much time right now talking about it. We're not going to talk our way out of it, because as the story just pointed out, they don't care whose protection I'm under when they're in an alley and they can just kill me and dump the body in a trash can. So, the options are run for the alley or attack the people. My first thought was obviously attacking one of the 2 pairs that are coming at me. One pair has 2 clubs. I think that's who they're saying I'm going to charge toward. In the other pair, only one of them has a knife, but my character is pretty skilled with the knife too, so I figured that pair is probably the best one to go for. I could be wrong. I don't know. I'll let the author give me some leeway here, but definitely wasn't considering running for the alley because I don't know what's down there. Could be a dead end. Might be an absolutely clean alley with no ladders, no any way to pull myself out of that situation. I don't want to trap myself. The current alley has 2 exits, so it has options if one way doesn't work out. I think I'm going to just charge and do my best to use my skills to get out of the situation and not just rely on luck. Let's see what happens. You pull out your dagger and charge forward. The pair of men freeze in place, tensed to fight. A shadow steps out of the side alley just as you pass it. That way was a trap. No surprise. You have seen that sort of trick before. Box you in and then let you think you have a route to escape. Only that's where the real ambush is. Now the question is how to handle the 2 in front. You don't want to kill them. Even if you could kill them both, it would take too much time, and there are at least 3 coming up behind you. A few options come to you in this instant. Their clubs afford them more reach than your dagger. However, you are very practiced at throwing your weapon at a range of about 2 meters. One throw will not likely kill, but getting stuck with a dagger will certainly distract. Another option is to try to somersault past them. There is a gap to the left of one of the men, but unless that man's wits are dulled by drink, you estimate he will get at least one strike on you with his club as you pass. What do you do? Again, I am noticing that I am a pretty opinionated reader when playing games like this because I always seem to have one option that feels absolutely stupid to me. And in this case, I'm not letting go of my weapon. I get I might be good at throwing the dagger, but once I throw it, what else am I doing? And also, of these two options, the somersault gets me past the two guys I'm charging. I want to get back out into the public city as fast as possible. Sure, there are no guards around. There's nobody that's going to help me or back me up. But these guys are probably slightly less likely to do anything to me in open with witnesses. I don't know who witnesses would ever report to, but let's just hope for the best and say, if I can get out in the open, they might be less inclined to attack me. So let's just get out of this alleyway. I'll take the hit, whatever that might be, but I'm not letting go of my weapon. All right, let's choose somersault and see what happens. Yeah, I took a hit of 1 life by 1, but morale increases by 1. I agree. I feel much better with this choice. Veering to the left of one thug, you dive to the street as you tuck your head in and roll. There's a slam against your back and shooting pain. Ignoring the pain, you roll to your feet and continue running. Pouring on the speed, you do not look back. Shouts, curses, and the slapping of boots against stone as they pursue, but they are no match for your speed and fear. Soon, you lose them in the dark streets. Unlike most of the outer ring, the entire street in front of this castle is well lit, with hanging street lamps. A pair of the Duke's guards in chainmail armor stand near the lowered drawbridge and are talking to a small cloaked figure whom you soon recognize as Kriya. You consider for a moment whether you should approach. You're a deserter, but from Lord Wallington's army, not the Duke's. Nevertheless, guards have always made you nervous. Not wanting to loiter, which would truly make you look suspicious, you walk up to the trio. Kriya smiles when she sees you. I was just inquiring of these gentlemen as to when their captain will be back.
Bonebrow comes and goes as he pleases,
says one of the guards, a young man with a massive bruise swelling up his one eye. How is it that a soldier keeps such erratic hours of duty? Asks Kriya.
He prefers it,
says the other guard, a man so gaunt that his armor is threatening to slough off.
Wants to catch us unawares.
You gonna clean out the sewer with this one? Bruiseface asks you while pointing at Kriya. That is our agreement, you say.
Oh, you couldn't pay me enough coin to go down there,
says the skinny guard. He grins at Kriya.
I can think of a lot more comfy places for a comely woman like you.
Can you guess where? Kriya doesn't take the bait. Do you expect the captain will be back at the keep tomorrow?
Might find him tonight at the Leering Virgin Inn, says Bruiseface.
He probably went out for a night ride, says the skinny guard. He turns and spits into the moat. Payday was this morning. We do not want to hazard the sewers at night anyway, says Kriya with a sigh. The rats will be too vigorous. She turns to the guards and curtsies. Thank you for your time, gentlemen.
Oh, the pleasure is ours,
The skinny one says, tipping his helm. You and Kriya walk away. And if the lady ever wants an easier and more pleasant way of making some coin, continues the skinny one, come back and ask for the ox.
Not your name, laughs the other soldier. Tell them the name you earned.
Not very bright, that one, you say once you have walked out of earshot. To talk that way to a wizard seems to me a straight road to a hex. It would take a lich an eternity to curse every scoundrel in this city, she says, shaking her head. Scoundrels indeed, you say as you peer down the road. It took me less than 15 minutes in the outer ring to get accosted by a gang of thugs. I suspect it may be safer in the sewer with the giant rats than in this place after dark. Tonight this particular road is safe, says Kriya. It is payday, and this road is the fastest route between the castle and the taverns the Duke's men favor. There will be plenty of men-at-arms along the way. She nods at a trio of soldiers staggering a block ahead. I fear the Duke's men may be as dangerous as the gangs, you say. And I presume the captain's night ride does not involve a horse. You are correct, says Kriya, which is why we are heading to the Leering Virgin Inn, as his men suggested. If it's an inn, then it suits me, you say with a smile, even one full of soldiers. I guess that's the territory he's used to working in. Blindfolded, you could have found the Leering Virgin Inn tonight, thanks to the sound of the raucous crowd blowing down the street. The inn is an old building, and even at night, you can tell it needs a fresh layer of paint. It has 2 stories. All the windows are barred. This is your kind of place. Now this is living, you say as you take the lead from Kriya and push through the doors. The inn is well lit, with lanterns burning merrily on every table. Although night has fallen less than an hour ago, the dancing and singing is already in full swing. There are a pair of minstrels in one corner, one with a mandolin and the other with a flute. An older woman with few clothes on stands in front of the pair, singing, her painted lips open wide, forming a distinct O. There are a lot of soldiers. Although few are wearing armor, you can spot them just the same, full of scars and constantly slapping each other on the back, shoving and laughing like men who, at the moment, do not have a care in the world. Why would they? They are the law. The women are all prostitutes as best you can tell. A nearby young one, maybe your age, has her hair up, no doubt to highlight her lovely neck. However, her hairdo is already mostly undone and tousled by early business. The only woman in the house that might not be a prostitute is one of the 2 barkeeps behind the bar, a comely woman with slightly pointy ears. Half-elf, you wonder? She smiles and laughs easily at a patron's jokes as she reaches for a bottle up on the wall. The air stinks of tobacco and spilled ale. Kriya walks into the center like a rock in the midst of a churning river. She slowly turns, her eyes roving intently. A soldier staggers past her like a wobbly racing horse. barely missing her. Without thinking, you're standing by her side, your hand near the hilt of your dagger. You find yourself in the unfamiliar role of the bodyguard. You don't trust soldiers near her. Strange, since you were one yourself only a few days ago. From your time on the march, you knew brave and good men, and yet you have seen what they can do. That was war, you think. It is different here, you try to assure yourself. Kriya seems comfortable enough. If anything, she's annoyed, judging by the slight scowl on her face. She can handle herself, you think. After all, she handled you just fine when she bewitched you back at the Green Dragon Inn. You wonder why you are not angrier about that. Part of the bewitchment, you suppose. You spot a fully armored guard with a sword on his belt standing guard at a stairway. There's no insignia on him. He might work for the inn. Suddenly, Kriya is in motion, and you follow her. She walks up to a group of soldiers seated at a table littered with copper and silver coins and crowded with mugs of ale. A prostitute sits on the lap of a big soldier, her head tilted and resting on the left side of his head, an arm around his back. She looks bored. There is a brand on the underside of her arm, 2 parallel curving lines, like the banks of a river. The soldier is missing his right ear, nothing more than a small bump of rubbery flesh. Captain Bonebrow, do you remember me? Kriya says to the man with the missing ear. He looks at her with watery eyes and then slowly nods. The witch, he says. The soldiers around the table fall silent. We wanted to speak to you about the bounty for the rats, says Kriya. Several at the table are now quietly sizing you up. After a pause, the captain laughs. Neville's tongue. It's an eager witch to hunt me down and corner me here like a treed fox. He laughs again. Tomorrow morning I shall attend to that. I will not so much as speak on the sewer again tonight. I will find you at the outer ring keep? Asks Kriya. The captain nods. Very well, says Kriya. I shall see you tomorrow morning. He will be late, says one of the men at the table. Our captain rented the best room tonight. The soldier leans around the table and slaps the leg of the prostitute sitting on the captain's lap. She smiles faintly at him. Maybe it's a wince. And then resumes her vacant expression. You and Kriya take your leave. On your way toward the exit, you spot the half-elf again, now carrying a drink on a tray. There is a sadness about her. Perhaps noticing you noticing her, she turns away. Come on, says Kriya, pulling on your sleeve. You follow the witch out the door. So it seems here that we've reached a checkpoint, and at the same time I've just gotten an alarm on my phone that tells me that I'm gonna wrap it up about now. But I found several things in there kind of interesting. I wouldn't say that too much has happened in this first bit of time that we've read, and at the same time I feel like maybe this is just me, but the story is trying to introduce the possibility of romance developing between Kriya and Rooster. I'm not against it. I'm not looking for it. But I just thought I'd mention that I felt it as the author started to play up Rooster's unexpected desire to protect Kriya. To be fair, this is why he was hired to follow her, is not just to kill extra rats faster, but also because she's a little vulnerable as a magic caster and she needed someone who could have her back. So it's not outlandish that he should start to fall into this role. But the fact that he points out that it felt surprising to him since he used to be a soldier recently, and that he'd feel so defensive. I don't know, maybe that's how I read it. At the same time, they didn't say it was so surprising because of her. It was because of his own history. It also suggested that he easily got into that role because of his history, because he's seen soldiers do some pretty bad things, even though he knows that plenty of them can be good and noble. Anyway, I am a little curious to see where that goes. I've never read this far into Rogue's Choice. I've only ever read the first chapter, so I don't know where this is going, and I'm only sharing with you the vibes that I have, but this isn't me feigning ignorance about the future. I am genuinely curious where this is going to lead us, but for now, dreamers, I will leave you with this fodder for your nighttime reading, and I hope that you welcome me back to read more to you next time. I'll probably try to post another one of these within the next couple of weeks, but I think the next story I'm going to read from will be Wizard's Choice, because I have missed that one, and I do want to reconnect with any who might have been interested in that story as well. I don't remember if it had as much interest as Rogue's Choice. I don't know if I read any comments over there, but I'm interested in it, so I will be reading from Wizard's Choice next, probably for this upcoming weekend. All right, well, until then, please like and show me that you're interested in these stories. If you enjoyed my voice, if you enjoyed the content, if you would have made different choices, please let me know. Comment what you would have done instead. If there are any story-based games, or any games that maybe have particularly dynamic lore that maybe you'd like me to read, just because you'd like me to share in it, because I assure you I would probably enjoy it. But even if there are some games that maybe you enjoy, but you just don't feel like reading through the lore section, and you think maybe I would enjoy doing that for you instead, just let me know. Drop a comment for me, and I promise I will try to make time to read through those. It doesn't seem like it's been overwhelming yet, so I will try to read any suggestions you give. Even if I don't follow it, I will at least acknowledge it. Also, please subscribe. It gives me motivation to try to do this more often. Obviously, I'm doing it on my schedule and my convenience, but the more that I know people are interested in hearing these stories and hearing my narration, and maybe looking forward to something else they want me to read, it really does a lot to encourage me to make more time to do it. So if you can, just please show me that you're interested, and I will try to follow that same energy. Until next time, I thank you all for those who have listened, and good night.